This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason, what do you got on tap for us today?
Well, I've got a series that I've been following for a good long while now, and someone that who is writing it that's very extra as far as comic book writers go. I'm talking about Jason Aaron, a guy who just made his debut in comics writing about both sides of the Vietnam War, and then talking about life on an Indian reservation. It's like as it gets seriously crazy, and then it's like talking about hey, how hard is it to be Wolverine? It's like that kind of thing. So Aaron has done his has written a lot of good comics that I've enjoyed, from the other side, from Scalp, from his lifetime stint on Wolverine for a good long while, and also his almost is it decade long stint? I don't know, but he wrote Thor for a good long while, like long enough to just not only just say hey, I know how to write Thor, if I have him come against a guy who is just utterly against what everything he stands for, and then also just say hey, here's the new Thor, someone who is a woman, also has every right to wield a Mjolnir. It's and it's also Jane Foster and all. So so Aaron has done a lot of good stuff over the years. It's and so when it was revealed that he was going to be the guy who was going to be writing the new Avengers series, because okay, here's the thing, um, I I only started following Avengers after Brian Michael Bendis started writing it, because hey, back in the days Bendis was the shit, and hey, it's when he was gonna reveal he was gonna be writing it, okay, I'm gonna follow him, and okay, it was good, even though things were kind of kind of wobbly but towards the end, but then after he left things, then Jonathan Hickman took over, and basically he had a plan. He was the guy who basically you know basically set up a two Avengers titles, Avengers and New Avengers. Avengers was basically the story of the most powerful Avengers team who ever lived, who was going to fight against these world ending threats and all, and that's great. But then you had New Avengers, which is basically the story of the people who were really running the show. It's and they were and their high cost efforts to try and save the world, like even if not everyone knew what they were doing is right. It's I loved it. It's I mean it was really great. It's and I thoroughly enjoyed what Hickman is doing. And it eventually led to the big universe ending crossover that was Secret Wars. So basically, you had someone who was telling a big story for two different titles, that base that just had a big plan behind it. And so when you follow up on that, you think well, how do you follow up on that? It's how do you get someone who has a big all seeing eyes, what what the Avengers can do after that. Well, much as I Mark Wade, someone who's had legendary runs on the Flash, on Daredevil, it's and no, maybe not quite as good, but equally restricted runs on 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 JLA and all. He got the silver key to follow up on this, and it didn't quite work out. Basically, following up on Hickman's giant multiverse ending stuff. He said do more character focused stuff on his team, and it didn't quite work out, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really as entertaining as I had hoped. So then you get, but so it wasn't so bad, because after Wade got his ass sacked and all. Well, now Jason Aaron got the call as well, because after someone who was like done like great runs on like Wolverine, and the X-Men, and also on Thor, especially like like Marvel just like realized that maybe this guy can like deliver a good like Avengers run after all, and that's what we got here. Because the thing about Aaron's writing is that it's always been a little bit extra. It's like it's not just like it's like he has like like the Avengers like fighting someone. It's always about like oh, it's the final host of the Celestials, and they're led by Loki. It's like because they basically like realize that like the Avengers like of 1 million BC. It's like killed like their like their progenitor. It's like now we've got to like like lead vengeance against them. It's like and there we go. So you've got this basically his first storyline is basically all about like the Avengers of our present time, like led by the prime trio of Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, fighting against like this final host of the Celestials, taking on taking on this team. This team that's going to like destroy Earth because like they believe that like hey the Avengers like killed our host, like our Avenger, like our Celestial from like a million years ago. It's like we're here for revenge, and also like there's these other like Avengers, like it's like Captain Marvel, Jennifer Walters Hulk, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, and all. It's like and also T'Challa, because you got to have like a T'Challa because he's like the smartest guy in the room, and he's really pretty great over the course of the run that Aaron is able to use him. But like this, basically this like initial run is basically all about like the Avengers fighting off the like the final host led by Loki, because he's basically told this like host like hey, these Avengers like they killed your bro, and it's like you've got to take them out. And that's kind of what like Loki is good at, like leading like like people like fighting Avengers and all. And that'll that will be relevant later. But the thing about Aaron's run for the series, I mean, at the first volume, I kind of felt that hey, okay, so you've got like this like these Celestials fighting Avengers, and like how do you go bigger than that? Well, it's like you've got you go bigger than that by getting Namor, like getting his own like 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 sea creatures fighting against people. You get the Russian Winter Guard having reason to fight against the Avengers. You've got Dracula having his own reasons to fight against the Avengers, or his son. It's like the Shadow Colonel fighting against the Avengers. Like there's like Aaron's run is full of like like people fighting against the Avengers like for reasons and all. Some of them are quite good. Some of them are just kind of like eh. But one of the things I really enjoyed about Aaron's run is that even if like the individual storylines aren't quite good, where you just got like oh, the Avengers are fighting against Dracula people, like in the it's like in the third like in the third volume, War of the Vampires. It's like, I mean, yeah, sure, I liked seeing Blade and the Avengers team up to fight Dracula vampires and stuff. But then you got the like the War of the Realms arc, where you've got him like like establishing the threat of the Sovereign Squadron Supreme, um like like version of the Avengers, which is basically like Justice League Avengers. It's like in like fighting against everyone. It's like, oh, and then you've got in the next storyline the it's like it's like Johnny Blaze, the like the ghost the prime Ghost Rider fighting against Robbie Reyes, who is the newest Ghost Rider, saying, hey, I'm gonna fight you for like your power of the Ghost Riders to like defeat against, so I can rule against Mephisto and all. And then you've also got at the same time like the Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is like like Frank Castle, like like the Frank Castle Ghost Rider, like with power cosmic, who fought with Mephisto in Donny Cates's epic storyline of Thanos Wins. It's like it's a storyline where you've got where you feel like, oh wow, Jason Aaron's like writing style is so extra that like you've got to have Frank Castle, like the Cosmic Ghost Rider, like fight against the Avengers. Then yeah, that makes sense. Like, is it as entertaining as you expect? Not quite, because while Aaron does a good job of detailing hey, it's like this stuff is so crazy. It's like at the point when let's see, when you got T'Challa fighting against Nighthawk, which is the Squadron Supreme version of Batman, T'Challa saying, yeah, I'm gonna have my kids in our nation, hack your school because this is how Wakanda rolls. And then you got Nighthawk saying, yeah, I've got I've introduced a bill to our American to America, saying we're gonna classify your your Wakandan kids as terrorists, as a terrorist cell. It's like that's kind of extra we're talking about here. Like it's just it's so crazy, it's so over the top. And on one hand, it's really appropriate for how the Marvel universe works. That's kind of what I liked about what about Aaron's run as Avengers. But the problem is that sometimes it can get so crazy that it starts to lose any sense of oh, this is special. This is like you're so crazy that what, how are we supposed to care about this? I mean, this is a run where we've got 3 different versions of the Phoenix I'm coming into contact with each other at the end game. And when you say 3 different versions of the Phoenix, wait a second, didn't we have a version of the Phoenix that was that provoked a Avengers versus X-Men storyline, not just a whole X-Men versus Avengers storyline, but also one that had 6 whole issues of X-Men versus Avengers fighting and shit. So yeah, that's what we're going for here. And this is so extra that one of these versions of the Phoenix is actually Thor's mother, because not only did Aaron have a lot to say about Thor's origins and upbringings in his own Thor series, but he's got more to say here. So, and on one hand, the fact that Thor has 2 mothers is a valid storyline here. It's I liked it. I was the way Thor makes it work, the way Aaron presents it here actually kind of makes it work. It's so crazy and over the top that you kind of just have to be willing to accept what the writer is doing here. It's and if you can't just step back and say, oh well, it's oh, so Aaron is saying that Iron Man's father in an alternate dimension that sacrificed his own family in order to be the futurist who would see all the futures coming before him and be the right hand of Mephisto. Yeah, you might have a problem with this run. On one hand, it's I generally enjoyed what Aaron was doing here. It was pretty entertaining, and even if the individual storylines weren't satisfying or weren't wholly surprising, I was still kind of interested in the overall storyline that Aaron was telling, because I don't think we've seen a storyline where it was basically the Avengers versus Satan. Because yeah, that's basically what this is. Aaron has he's got clear religious overtones in his work. Just read his work on Thor and on and Scalp as well. But he's basically decided to make this run basically the Avengers versus Satan. And I think that's a novel, interesting setup that like I was kind of like invested in. It's like even if like the storyline, the individual storylines, didn't quite deliver like the innovation that I was expecting. Like even if like we get a storyline where it's like, oh, it's like the Avengers are fighting each other and the Winter Guard in order to become the new host of the Phoenix, or like the multiversal masters of evil, basically like the Doom Supreme. It's like and the it's like the Red Skull, who's also a host of the Venom symbiote. It's like are fighting like are fighting our Avengers in order to like make sure they don't achieve their potential. It's like I was really interested in seeing like how this turned out because you've got like the overall storyline is what is Satan doing in order to like take on the Avengers. And it's like when we get to the final storyline, which is basically the 10-issue arc, and like it's so big that like we get like like we had to have like an alpha and omega issue to wrap it up. Like we've got like this entire final storyline. Like it's not like volume 11 of Jason Aaron's run. It's like no, it is volume. It's like it no, it's like that's not volume. It's not volume. It's volume 12 Jason Aaron's run proper, because you've also got to read the it's like the Avengers Forever volumes, because like because this is a run so big that he had to split it off into another title, where where Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, like had to team up with Tony Stark, the Ant-Man from another universe, in order to like save it from the from the Black Skull, like Venom symbiote. It's crazy. It's over the top. It's insane, and maybe it's arguably too big for its own good, because when you get to that final storyline, it's basically like the Avengers, in one, like in the 616 Marvel universe, with all the other Avengers from the other timeline, from Avengers Forever, that Aaron has been writing as well, and it's crazy. It's insane. It's big. It's basically involves like a character who is like Avenger Prime, the one who is like the Avenger at the end of the at the end of the timeline, who is basically like trying to fight against like everyone, basically like the Mephistos who have lied against him, and also the Doom, the Doctor Doom, who is basically like decided to use this chaos in order to fight against everyone who was like lied against him. It's like it's crazy, it's over the top, it's ridiculous, because you've got every like Avenger fight like fighting against him, and at the same time you've also got like 4 different Phoenixes fighting against us, and you think that there's all these different Phoenixes, and then one of them would have been enough to like take on the others, but nope. It's like you've got like all these crazy over the top like store like like Marvel characters of the firmament that are supposed to run the firmament of the Marvel universe, and there's so many versions of them fighting against like the forces opposing them. On one hand, I think that Aaron's big extra storytelling does lend itself to the story he's trying to tell, like basically like a big multiversal saga, like all these characters fighting against each other in order to like save the universe from ultimate destruction. But at the same time, like you kind of like have to look at it and go like, man, this is so crazy. I just have to take a step back and just detox from this, because on one hand, it's like I did enjoy this. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that when Aaron revealed who Avenger Prime was, I was able to like guess it just before like I turned the page or figure out who it was, and it made great sense as to who Avenger Prime was. And you've got the like the whole like multiversal Avengers fighting against their their own demise and all that. It kind of feels like a supersized more responses, more focused response to what DC has tried to do with their own multiverse crises, every couple of years and all. It's like I really do admit, like I did enjoy what Aaron was trying to do with this final storyline with Avengers Assemble, because he does do a good job of setting everyone up as in terms of fighting what they're trying to fight against and all, and also I will admit that like their Dark Phoenix, even if it is one Phoenix too many, it's their evil Dark Phoenix makes sense in terms of what we're trying to fight against, in the whole multiversal saga and all. But and also it's the whole Marvel Universe versus Satan and all that. That stuff works pretty well as well, because it's I can understand why this Mephisto, the Mephisto that was angry against has been fighting against the Avengers in the storyline, would want what's going on, would want the final resolution here. It's but and I can appreciate just what happens to him as well. Especially since it winds up him being subjected to the whims of one of Aaron's favorite pet characters in the Marvel universe as well. I think that a Mephisto subjected to the nonstop exposition of the orb is kind of cute as well in the end as well. But overall, it's I did enjoy this, but I will say that your enjoyment of Aaron's run will probably just depend on how well you appreciate his extra version of how he writes things. If you've enjoyed how he's written Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and again Thor, then yeah, you'll probably be entertained by what he's done here. And don't make no mistake, by the artists he's worked with in order to achieve this, Ed McGuinness, David Marquez, Ivan Fiorelli, Javier Garron, especially. It's and also Aaron Cooter and Jim Toe. It's they do fantastic work. This is a series that is that never looks less than fantastic. So yeah, if you're looking for an Avengers series that basically that goes extra, but it's kind of the extra that maybe doesn't quite deliver in terms of character stuff, maybe delivers in terms of overall plot story stuff, then yeah, it's this is pretty good. It's maybe it's not quite as good as the as Jonathan Hickman's Secret Avengers run, but overall it's I was kind of impressed with how well Aaron managed to get his extra styling into the storyline. I was entertaining. Is it the greatest Avenger storyline? No. Will I probably read more Avenger storylines, hoping for something better? Yeah, but this is pretty good. So there you go. I don't know. It's John.
Yep.
You got.
Well, I don't have a lot of opinions on this particular one, but I think it's safe to say that it's probably worth checking out. Outside of that, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Oh, man,
if all plans go well.
Oh man, it's it kind of depends on how things are going to go, because maybe I'll talk about some Crazy Night Fever, or it's maybe a surprise to you and me both. We'll see how things go.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right. Later, everyone.
See ya.